In this video, we're going to talk about one technique that you can use to make your speech a lot more memorable. Let's get right into it. When you look at a lot of memorable speeches, you'll realize there's usually a phrase or two that's very memorable, not the whole speech. Take Martin Luther King, for example. I have a dream. That's the part most people remember. That's the part I remember. The rest of the speech, not so much. And there are countless examples of this throughout history, and you'll realize that you don't remember the whole speech. Not any of us can, but what you do remember is the message, the key phrase from that speech. And we're going to look at an example today that's going to explain that really well. Having said that, a lot of us who are beginning our public speaking career or just planning our next speech, we usually ask ourselves, okay, what's the story? What's the topic I want to talk about? And then once you've decided that, once you've decided the story, the topic of the speech, by the end of it, you usually decide, okay, what do I want to tell the audience with this? What's the message? Or some people just leave that out too. They just want to tell a story. So today I'd like to suggest you to try to invert that process. Instead of coming up with a topic, instead of coming up with a story, ask yourself, what's a message I want to give the audience? And then find a story that goes around it. So let's have a look at this example here. In today's example, we're going to be looking at Dhananjaya Hettiarachchi, World Champion of Public Speaking 2014. And I'm not just saying that because I got to meet him in person, but I truly think he's one of the best speakers I have ever seen. And you will see all of what we're talking about in his speech. I'm just going to play clips of this and you can watch this on your own, and I highly encourage you to do. But while we're watching this, just see how he uses these key phrases, this one foundational phrase that people remember.
I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. If you decide to work with me, I can help you find that something.
One thing you'll notice is that these phrases are not anything special. They don't contain any high-level vocabulary. They're brief, usually under 10 words. And if you're coming up with a message, I would highly suggest making sure your message is 10 words or less. Highly specific, so it's something your audience can remember by the time you finish speaking.
Looked me dead straight in the eye and said, son, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is.
Now you'll see that not only does he use the phrase, but he uses it time and time again throughout his speech to remind his audience what his message is. And this way you'll see that the entire speech is structured around the message, structured around that phrase, not the other way around.
She says, I saw something in you, but I still don't know what it is.
Towards the end of the speech, you will see before he's even done finishing, the audience is already laughing because they know what's coming next. They already remembered the message of the speech, and that's how you know you've really hit the mark with your foundational phrase, and your audience will remember it.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I look at you, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. Over to you.
Now when I see professional public speakers do things like these, I do want to try them out myself to see if it works. So here's an example of me trying out the same exact technique in one of my speeches, and you'll be able to identify the message of my speech very easily just because I keep saying it time and time again.
Sometimes in life you might not get what you want, but if you look closer you might have gotten exactly what you needed. You haven't gotten what you wanted, but if you look closer, you might have gotten exactly what you needed. You know what he says? You might not got what you wanted, but if you look closer, you might have gotten exactly what you needed. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Alexander.
So to recap, come up with a message that you want to give your audience and then find a story to revolve around that. It's a complete 180 from what we usually do, and you'll find that we're much more specific with our message in our speech. And once we deliver it time and time again, your audience will be a lot more likely to remember it. Have a message, build a speech around it. Thank you for watching. I hope you found these tips useful, and if you did, I'll be making a whole series on public speaking. So if you have any specific questions you want to ask, leave them down below in the comments. I'll make sure to address them. Make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next one.